G'day folks, welcome to this critical moment in this playthrough of Ardennes 44. We're at the beginning of turn 10. So it's the PM turn on the 20th of December. And the Germans have had this critical breakthrough out here near Liège. Back on turn 5, they broke through across the Earth River. They captured most of Liège, all of Liège in fact, which is a victory objective, but they couldn't draw supplies back to a friendly supply network. By the end of the US turn, basically they captured Liège, but then you have to wait until the end of the American turn to check victory conditions, and in that American turn they cut the supply link, which means that the Germans had to keep fighting. As more American reinforcements have arrived, the Germans have been forced to pull back away from Liège. So they've given up on that possible automatic victory condition, and they set themselves the larger goal of getting 24 attack factors to exit the map hex via, I think it's G and F exit hexes, and these are those hexes along here. So since turn 5, we spent turn 6, 7, 8 and 9 setting this up, driving or rediverting a lot of the German forces out into this area here. And you can kind of see that green corridor of units. So the green, this is the the western flank of that German corridor running along here, and this is the eastern flank. Now, the Germans have just lost their last hex of Liège. The Americans punched through and forced them back here. You can see the Americans have crossed back over the Meuse. Incidentally, I mean, these are Germans across the Meuse River. A lot of bulge games award the Germans victory if they cross the Meuse, or if they cross the Meuse in certain strength. In this one, there's a few different victory conditions you can strive for. As I said, capturing Liège and drawing that supply line back is one of them. Another one is one I usually go for, is controlling 4 of 6 victory hexes on the Meuse River, controlling 6 victory hexes on the west map. What I'm going for now, as I said, is exiting 24 attack factors off F and G, whilst retaining a supply path to that exit hex by the end of the American turn. What does this mean in practice? It means that I have to exit 24 attack factors worth of German units off, I think there's one up here, perhaps? No, there's not. So off mainly this hex here is the one I'm aiming for. And then, that's one thing, but then keep this corridor open such that supplies can flow from this hex back to a friendly German source. The first part of that is pretty easy. Since turn 6, I've been able to get 24 attack factors off, but I haven't had the strength in this area to keep that supply corridor open until about now. Now the problem is, as you can see down here, we've got a lot of American armour. They're arriving in strength, and on the American turn, on the Allied turn, we have the first British reinforcements arriving, and they're arriving from hex F or G, and there's a strong American unit arriving from entry hex G. So yeah, Allied reinforcements are going to start coming in here. So I think I need to push now before it gets too difficult. If I wait too long, you can see what's happening here. The Americans have been counterattacking. Because a lot of these early reinforcements coming through H hexes, which are along this area here, they had not previously been able to get through Liège, and so they focus their attention on trying to cut this road. The Germans were principally using this road along here to get up through to Liège in this area, and the Americans have cut that off, meaning they've had to divert through this road. This has now been cut off by this pesky American reconnaissance unit here. They came from over here, weaved through, and captured Vermont. So I'm trying to deal with that. Had an engagement result last turn. Trying to fight back here, had an engagement result. Trying to push the Americans across from that western side of the corridor, had another engagement result. So the tide feels like it's turning against the Germans. So I've decided, okay, I'm going to make a rush for it. I'm going to exit these 24 attack factors this turn. And hope I can keep this corridor open. So you may be able to see these little clear markers on these units. These are the, and a little red one up here, these are the units that I'm exiting off the map edge. So you can see up here I've got 6, they just have to attack move off, done. 18 left to go. I've designated this one, that's 5, and they can just go 1, 2, 3, okay. I've got 13 left to go. I've got this stack here with a total of 6, so they can go 1, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4. What are they there? Total of 6. I've got 7 factors left to go. And what have I got here? Is that right? Am I doing the maths correctly? 10, 12, 17. 12, 17, yeah. I need 7 more. Okay, that's right, this unit down here. What I'm going to do is place these guys under a strategic movement marker. They're not next to German units, so they can use strategic movement. And they're going to go, what was the path I had lined out from? This is how difficult it is. I'm having to pull these units from down here to get off the map because I need to hold on to these flanks. I'm going to have to protect this flank as well and then bring more force up to protect this flank. So they're going to go, what was the path? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, 9, 10, and they're off. Alright, and then one of these units, excuse my arm, it's a bit of a reach. These guys here, 1, 2 to disengage, and then 3, 4. Okay, so I've exited 24 attack factors from those entry hexes. I now need to protect. I'm going to do 2 things. I have to protect the flanks whilst, and I don't know, the rules aren't clear, whilst also blocking those entry hexes, because what this will mean is if those entry hexes aren't blocked, I think there's nothing in the rules to say that the Americans can't just come back down again. These guys are racing off to Antwerp, I guess, and there's still kind of that highway open for other American reinforcements to come down. So I think I still have to block these entry hexes to stop the Americans from reinforcing here, and that's going to be a much more complex job. I'm going to try and count up some factors around here and trying to shift everything I can. I only need a narrow corridor of supplies, but it has to be a road link from here. This one's already been blocked by the Americans, so I have to go all the way up here. It has to travel through Ardennes and then down across the Meuse here, and then it can weave however it wants, sort of through here. Around here I'm safe. This is the critical area. The Americans have a lot of strength up here. They can counterattack, and that replacement marker will be gone. The trucks will go away. They have a lot of hitting power on that northern flank. They've already got a lot of hitting power on this southern flank. It's and I don't have a lot of forces I can bring into this area, so this could be very close. I'm not going to record that because it's going to take me a long time to find the units that can get into that gap. But this is the desperate German gambit. They race across the Meuse, but at what cost? Right, folks, stay tuned and I'll report back soon.